So what I'd like fighters to do, rather than get bogged down in the weeds of the specifics, to dial it back to sort of foundation principles instead. And I find if you can work based on principles, you can plug or play a lot more with what works for you within that framework, rather than being like this specific technique or combination or whatever. None of that actually matters. That plugs into more of an overall strategy. Fighters, welcome back to another episode of Heatrick Muay Thai Performance. The difference between the strategy being how you're playing the game, and then the actual tactics are being the specific combinations and techniques you use to achieve that strategy. So if we can sort of zoom out to the strategy more and find what fits you best there, then the actual techniques and combos and all that kind of stuff, they fill in the blanks for themselves, which I find is then it just takes the cognitive load off. So you can just sort of let it happen rather than being quite so cognitive about it and having to think hard. And when you get tired, that goes out the window. We want to sort of boil it down to the simple aspects and just let you do what you do best and put you in a position to achieve that the best. So I primarily think about range first, because you can win fights just by thinking about range, and that's purely it. It just kind of sorts itself out from there. This is how I distinguish it. Long ranges, you can just about reach with a kick or very slightly outside of it, and you have to step in to hit it. But it's like long teeps, all that kind of stuff, big, long round kicks. Medium range is where you can actually reach with a straight punch. So it's that punch range. Close range is where you can hit with an elbow or hook punches and tight uppercuts, all that kind of stuff. And then clinch range is you can have a hand on the neck. You're actually that close. And you can take a fight to any one of these ranges. So you can be an aggressive long-range fighter, an aggressive close-range fighter, medium or clinch, elusive long-range. All these combinations all kind of mix and match. And like I say, you can kind of switch around as well. But if you kind of understand these key aspects, then all of a sudden you can filter a fight down to core principles and decide where you're going to take your strategy to win. If you're struggling with a particular technique or combination that your opponent's throwing, it tends to be that they've got a favorite range that those techniques work from, and you can nullify that by actually fighting at a different range to that, just avoiding that range. I find, for example, if you've got a lot of Western Muay Thai fighters tend to be good with the punches. They love to be in that medium range for punches. So if you can avoid the medium range and take the fight to long range or close or clinch range, kind of jump either side of that and don't spend too long at medium range if you can, that takes away their best weapons there. And then you've gone into places where you've potentially got the advantage and they haven't. So in a fight, it's a bit of a case of testing to see which ranges am I most comfortable at and they're least comfortable at. And I'll try and spend the predominant portion of the fight at the range I'm best at and they're not at, rather than, even if it's like, normally I'm really great at medium range, but this opponent is better than me at medium range. And if I play my poker hand at this range, he's going to keep winning. So I can't fight there, even though it might be my favorite. He's actually more effective at it than me. So I'm going to have to now take the range a little bit longer or take it in past that and take more of the almost like possession time on the football, take it into where I'm scoring more than they are. And that's going to affect what your footwork's going to be, whether you're going to be aggressive and compress up the range to get into the clinch or close. It might be like, I'm not going to let you punch. I'm actually going to get in so tight. It's going to be elbows and knees where I'm having a better effect. Or I'm going to get out and be more elusive and make you come and find me. And I'm using my teeps and longer range kicks. And every time because I know you're going to try and hunt for medium range. You're going to try and get where you can reach out with a straight arm and touch me. And I'm going to make sure I'm either countering or doing something to spoil that, whether that's like kicking out the base legs, all that kind of stuff, inside low kicks, outside low kicks, stepping off and moving and getting back out again. So as soon as you start looking at it in terms of range, you can quite easily start to filter for how can I play into the territory that's going to win the fight rather than what's going to be their advantage. And the techniques that come out from being at those ranges just kind of self-select. I use like an example of like the torso suddenly becoming aware that they're open to the body. If you're at long range and you're not stepping in, not changing your footwork, your brain's going to instantly kind of select like a teep to find that body because it's open. That's what's going to happen. If you're closer, it might be, a straight punch. And if you're even closer still, it might be I throw a knee because it's too tight for anything else. But the body's open and the target kind of dictates what the weapon is along with the range that you're at. So you then don't start thinking too much about what you're going to do. You just start playing the game of what range do I want relative to my opponent and kind of be aware of what targets open up and just trust that my heat-seeking weapons will go for that target with whatever I've got for that particular range. Or I'll use my footwork to change the range. So I might be out at distance and the body's open and I might walk forwards and throw a long knee instead of like a teep from where I was or something like that.
Thanks for listening. If you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and share with someone else it could help too. Please give the podcast a review or comment below. We'd love to hear from you. As always, you can visit heatrick.com for more Muay Thai performance podcasts, videos, articles, and guides. Catch you next time.